Hi, this is Jamie Magrich coming to you from my craft table. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. Now I do realize after I'd made it that this paper and this paper are not Stampin' Up! So I'm going to try and make it with all Stampin' Up! Today. And let's get started. Okay, what we're going to be using is the painted glass stamp set. We're going to use that for the sentiment, a reason to celebrate. Going to be using Bloom by Bloom, this little tiny flower right there, and then we're going to be using wonderful floral framelit dies. There's 3 of them over here on the big shot already. This leaf one, this long like, I don't know, it's a leaf sprig with some framework around it, I guess, and then this oval with a little cutting around it. Okay, we're also going to be using the sprig punch, and one of the little bitty blooms punches from the that came with the Bloom by Bloom if you got it as a bundle. Okay, for ink we have Mossy Meadow and Burmuda Bay. For paper, we're going to be using a piece of the shimmer paper. I don't know if you can see it, the glittery one. We have a piece of white, which is a scratch paper, which is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Can be any size as long as you can fit this on it and stamp a bunch of the flowers. I have a piece of lemon lime twist, which is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Again, it's just so I can punch out or die cut out 3 of these leaves. I've already done 2 for the sake of time, but we'll do the other one together. And then this piece is 5 1/2 inches by approximately 2 1/4. It doesn't really matter as long as it's wide enough for the die. Okay. For the card itself, we have Burmuda Bay, which is 3 3/4 by 5, a piece of Whisper White, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and a card base, which is the thick, which is 4 1/2 by 8 1/2, or 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, so let's get started. Let's put these over here so I know where they are and they're not going to get in the way or get lost. First thing I'm going to do, so I can get this punch out of my way, is I'm going to punch out 2 of these out of the glimmery paper there. Punch one way and one the other. Takes up less room then. Okay, so we can get those out of the way. Okay, then I'm going to bring, and I've already got them on the Big Shot. I'm going to go ahead and add a plate on top, my sandwiches. My Big Shot platform, my thin die adapter, a cutting plate, the paper with the dies on top, with the blade facing down, and another cutting plate on top. Now my plates are pretty warped, so I might have to tape these down. I'm just gonna risk. Okay. And I put them all on one so I can get the Big Shot off my table. Alright. This particular machine, I only need to run them through once, but check before you take them off. Make sure you don't have to run it through a second time. Okay, pieces I need, and we'll get the Big Shot off the table. Alright, now let me zoom in a little so you can see a little bit better. Alright. I'm also going to bring in my dye brush cleaner. Or my, yeah. I just have it in a little basket. I have 2 of these foams, and I turn it over after I use it. That way all the little bits goes in the bottom of the basket. I'm just going to brush over this to get these little bits out. It's just much easier. Most of them get contained in the basket then instead of going all over my floor. Just a little bit more on this side. Alright, I think I got all but a couple, so I'll pop those out with my fingers. 1, 2, okay. If we miss a couple, that's alright. This dye also embosses on the leaves. Can you see the leaves have the embossing on them? Okay, pop those pieces out. Let's pop the leaves out. The leaves also has embossing on them. It embosses all the little stems, all the veins. There you go. So I need 3 of those. Alright, get this out of the way. Alright, now we're going to stamp. The only stamping is we're going to stamp this and we're going to stamp the little flowers. Okay, so this is going to be the sentiment. We're going to use Mossy Meadow ink for that. Ink up our stamp. Looks pretty good. Stamp it right in the center. Okay, not bad. Okay, we're done with that. I'll set this aside for a minute. Now we're going to bring in our rest of our Whisper White piece. We might need another little scrap of it as well. We're just going to stamp a bunch of these little flowers. We want to stamp them far enough apart that we can punch them out with this little bloom. Okay. So, am I in frame here? Pick it up. Stamp it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's 12 on there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I got plenty of room on here. 11, 12. Do a couple more just for good measure. Okay. Alright, and we're going to take this bloom punch, and you'll see the stamp itself is quite a bit smaller than the punch. So we're going to just center it within the punch, pinch down the stamp just part way, and then you can use 2 hands to punch it out. You don't really need to, but make sure we get it in there. So I'm going to punch all these out and I'll be right back. Okay, you'll see I've got them all punched out. Done with the punch. Okay, so what we can do, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the little flower and I'm going to take it in the palm of my hand like this. And the back of my paper piercing tool, I'm just going to poke into the center of it, and it causes it to curl up a little bit. You can do it on your pierce mat as well. I like to stamp on this so I don't want to crease it up too bad, but you just do the same thing. You just set it down, take your piercing tool on the back of it and pop it in. But see, it leaves a little mark on there. So unless you have a separate one for stamping on, I just assume do it this way. It doesn't hurt yet, just Okay, and I'm gonna dump these out and put these ones in there. These little trays I got at the Dollar Tree. There's a whole stack of them. I think there's 10 or 12 of them for $1. These are really nifty for stuff like this. Holding little pieces in place so you don't lose them. Okay, just have a few more, so I'll just finish it up. Couple more, 2 more. Okay, now we're ready to start assembling our card. Okay, so we'll bring in the pieces. First thing I'm going to do is adhere this piece on the left side of the Burmuda Bay. We want to leave about 1/4 of an inch here. Okay. It is going to be longer than the piece. That's alright. We can center it on there and trim it off. And I'm just putting glue behind the large leaves. Not a lot of glue, just a little bit of glue. And then down this little piece here. I'm not doing any on that little lacy part. Okay, so we're going to put this on here where we want it. Make sure it's about even top to bottom, this spacing here. Okay. Alright, then we're going to take our snips, turn it over to the back, and trim off this little bits. Use the paper as a guide so you don't cut your paper like you want to put the blade up against the paper and cut that way. Okay, now we're gonna, where did our little silver pieces go that we cut out before? I lost them. How could I lose them? Well, we'll punch out some more. I've got to be here somewhere. Alright, so we're gonna figure out how we want this arranged. At this point we could glue this right to the white piece. It'll give it a little bit more stability. So we'll do that. And this is just this layer, the thin whisper white, the regular whisper white. Okay, there's 1/8 of an inch border all the way around it because it's 1/4 inch larger. Okay, so let's figure out how we want this. We need this to be in about this area here because this leaf is smaller, so if we tuck it in there, it'll fit. So let's go ahead and glue that in. And I'm tucking it under those green leaves. I want all of the sentiment to show, so this little one kind of works. You can put any sentiment you want on there. You can move this over farther if you wanted to. I want one of these to be about here. One of these to be about here. Let's go ahead and glue those down. Oops. And I'm just using the Tombow, and I'm just going to put little dabs of glue on the back. See? Little tiny dabs of glue. You don't have to get every petal or every leaf. Just little dabs will do ya. I just added this because I thought those other little pieces have been floating around my desk forever. I'd cut them out probably at Christmas time out of some foil paper I had floating around, or glimmer paper. Okay, these ones, we're going to have one coming off this way like this. It kind of overlaps those silvery ones, or glimmery ones. And if you want to cut the stems off of these, by all means you can do that. There's 3 of them. So one's going to hang off this way a little, one's going to come up here more and hang off the front. Sort of like that. So let's go ahead and glue these down. I didn't use any dimensionals, I just used the Tombow for the entire thing. And I'm putting the glue on these leaves down towards the bottom of the leaf a little bit. That way they can stand up off the thing just a hair if you choose them to. You know, the tip of the leaf can stand up a little. Okay, then I just started arranging my flowers. I know I wanted 3 down here, so a little tiny dab of glue on the bottom of it. Set it down where you want it. So 3 down here. Finish that sentiment off. And to balance it out, I want a couple up here at the top of it. Like one right here. One right there. I'm going to cluster down here at the bottom of the stem to hide all those stems that connect, that are just flopping out of nowhere. And then we're just going to fill it in. Here and there. I don't know if I need any more than that. Okay, then we're going to glue this to the front of our card. And there you go, there's our card for today. It's the one using 100% Stampin' Up. Here's the one I did previously. Well, thank you for joining me at my craft table today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to you joining me another day.